when we're harvesting, we're pulling these stalks through the corn head. And Marion Calmer, this is why you want to go to No-Till Conference. I'm sitting there, and Marion Calmer's talking about if your fodder is going through the combine, you're not picking the corn correctly. All of this should go through your head between the snapping rollers. And then, so you see farmers picking corn and there's all this material coming out their chopper, and you drive behind me and it's just flinging a leaf here and there. It's not hardly throwing anything out of the chopper. Makes it easier for the corn to fall through, but it also doesn't dislodge all of this. So your shelling or all your fodder material ought to go through the corn head, not the combine. So I'm laying in bed at night and I'm like, we can't drill. It's taking up my son, and it's during harvest and it's chopping up the tires on it. And I kept thinking there's got to be a way to do it in one pass with the combine. So I'm thinking about putting it here, putting it there, doing all different kinds of things. And then suddenly, from Marion Calmer at the No-Till Conference, he's saying, the fodder needs to go down through the head. And I went, bingo, we'll run the air tubes to right in front of the snapping rollers. So as all this goes through the snapping roller, it's mulching on top of the seed. It worked perfect. I put it all on a combine right during harvest, and we could barely get our hands on one. We had to put it together to even get one. And we put it on there and we did 300 acres. I'm like, I got to find out if it's going to rip the hoses off, why this ain't going to work. Well, after 300 acres, I'm like, my God, it works. Nothing's went wrong. So since then, I've done it on my corn head ever since then, and get these perfect stands every time. And then we put them on a platform. And so now we're seeding. Of course, on the corn head, you're pulling the fodder through and the seed spraying out in front of it. When you're cutting beans, you can't do that. So we spray it off the back of the platform onto the ground, and then you set your chopper to cover it up with all the material coming out of your chopper, because you're running all that bean material through your combine. Again, learning from No-Till Conference, you want choppers that do a perfect job of covering up the swath. So you don't want a platform that's 40 foot wide, 45 foot wide, and you're throwing a 30-foot span of all this valuable residue out of your combine from the bean stubble. And bean stubble is rich in nutrients. So we have a combine now that'll cock to one side and cock to the other side as you turn, to keep the wind blowing it over where you just harvested. So having an adequate chopper and residue distribution out of the back of your combine is critical when you're cutting soybeans. It's when you've left that field, this is the great thing, when you've left that field, it's seeded. You don't have to go get a drill. You didn't have to pay an airplane. If the ground is muddy, we're picking corn, because no-till cover crops holds up your combine. So this is a fact. If it rains 2 inches, we come into this field when it's ready to harvest.